Hi there. So I'm talking today to Sara Flay. Sara is Chief Executive of Legacy International, which is a group of businesses, not-for-profits and projects that seek to deliver actual change, not just great conversation. They identify where people are being let down and do something about it. Sara, I see from your LinkedIn profile, it says at 23, you were told that you'd never work again due to disability. And now you're the top of your company, telling employers why underestimating disabled staff is their most costly mistake, which I think is fabulous and just really, really inspirational. So I'm really pleased that you could join me to talk a little bit more about that.
Thanks for having me.
So to start off with, I just want you to tell us a bit about your current role or situation.
Okay, so I am currently the CEO of 2 companies and the founder of a third. So I am the CEO of Legacy, which is technically now it's a social enterprise at the moment, but it's soon to become a charity. So it's very much a funded focus and sort of community based. And then I'm the CEO of LIG Enterprise, which is a commercial company that does workplace support for disabled people and those with long-term health conditions. And then we've literally just launched a spin-off, which I'm the founder of, which is a company called ENU, and that is about inclusion in the workplace and ensuring everyone has fair access in the workplace based on the 9 protected characteristics. So I'm a busy woman.
I think that's an understatement. So Sara, tell us a little bit about your background, please, and how you got to where you are.
So my background is I've actually started my first business at 17. So I was a private music teacher. But back then I really didn't appreciate what an entrepreneur was. I didn't appreciate the fact that I worked for myself. All my friends were out in the summer enjoying life, and I was teaching 3-year-olds how to play piano. So that wasn't for me. And I found myself in the NHS. Accidentally applied for a receptionist job, and I stayed there then until I had my second child. So I didn't know at the time that I had the muscle wasting condition that I was born with, and I was diagnosed at 21. Having had 2 pregnancies quite close together, 19 months apart, I then deteriorated in my condition. My muscles were really affected by my pregnancies, and so I had to medically retire from the NHS at 23. So yeah, a mixture of both really, healthcare and entrepreneurship. Probably loved my job more in the NHS, never really loved being an entrepreneur, didn't really appreciate it. I was too young to appreciate it. Loved my job in the NHS, loved working with patients. But sadly that came to an end because I had to medically retire then because the condition affected me so badly. So yeah.
And so the theme of this year's International Women's Day is choose to challenge. Sounds to me like you've overcome a lot of challenges, but how do you deal with challenges, and what challenges do you face?
So I think the biggest challenge, most people probably find this quite surprising, but so I'm going through menopause at the moment. So I'm perimenopausal, and I'm about a decade too early for the statistics and for the medical books. So I'm a bit of a shock to the system. And actually that really challenges me. I never fully appreciated how menopause can affect you. And we're at the top of our game now in this at this time in our lives, and it's a condition that can literally render us useless. Some days I can't even remember my own name, never mind anyone else's. And so my biggest challenge is sometimes being in control of the fact that this condition, the menopause, more than anything, doesn't play ball. Whereas my physical condition that I have, the Charcot-Marie-Tooth, I know what affects that. I've had it all my life. I kind of know how it's going. If I work too hard, I know I'm going to be exhausted on the weekends. If I don't give myself enough breaks, I know my muscles are going to fatigue. There's lots of things like that. I can manage my condition, but yeah, being a woman and having menopause is definitely not something I've been able to manage well, and certainly challenges me on a regular basis. I'd say as well, the rapid growth of the work that I've done, it's all well and good and nice being your own boss and having your own business and doing your own bit of consultancy and being in charge. When you've now got 90 staff under your guidance, and it's happened quite rapidly, that's a real challenge because it's learning how to shift myself. And I think I've I've come to the point now where I need to do more work on myself as a leader, and how that it challenges me to not step in and do their work for them, or it challenges me to know when to delegate. So yeah, loads of challenges going on, and I'm not sure I'm winning most of them at the moment, what it feels like.
I think you definitely are, judging by some of the fantastic projects your team are achieving. And I know you mentioned the menopause there, and I'm sure that's really very relevant for a lot of the women in our workforce. And I know you're doing some great projects around menopause. I don't know if you want to say anything about those.
Yeah, so we've created 2 training sort of programs, one which is about women in the workplace. A lot of women don't really realize they're going through menopause until they've been started going through it, and often you can feel like you're dealing with depression, or maybe just mood swings, or you're just not feeling like the person you were, but nobody's actually giving you a diagnosis that you're going through menopause, and often it's mistakenly identified, and people can be treated for depression when actually it's a lack of estrogen. So we created a bit of an awareness training, which helps women to identify what menopause looks like, because there's so many different symptoms, but also as well for them to know what their rights are in the workplace, and the fact that menopause actually comes under the Equality Act. It's under the 9 protected characteristics. So it's classified as a long-term health condition, and obviously under gender as well. So it's about encouraging women to recognize that this is a real thing, and that the days are gone where we can just make jokes about menopause and the flashes and the flushes and all of those things, and that actually it is now something for employers to take seriously. So we've also then created a training for like line managers and HR to understand how to better manage women that are going through menopause and support them as well. And then we've got a bit of a sort of a funny one, which is a bit like a drop-in comedy session, which is a panel of people. So it's men, women, older, younger, all sharing their experience of menopause, whether it's their mum going through it, or their wife going through it, or them themselves going through it, and sharing it in a humorous way to make it more palatable, I guess, to the whole workplace, so that, you know, everyone in the workplace is confident to talk about it.
Fantastic, really important project. Thanks for telling us a bit more about that. And obviously, you know, challenges, we've all had a lot of challenges in this last year or so. I'm just wondering if there's any sort of key lessons you've taken from the COVID-19 crisis and subsequent lockdowns, and how what effect that's had on you or your organisation or daily life, really.
This is a bit of a running joke in our organisation now. So my key takeaway before COVID is don't plan anything, because for the first time in my professional career, I did a full year of planning. I planned events, activities, days, you name it. There was a plan on my wall for every single week of the year. And then COVID happened, and most of it didn't happen. So my staff think I'm personally responsible. The universe decided, oh my God, she's planning for a whole year of work for her staff. Let's just create COVID so that nobody has to do all of that work. So that's a bit of a running joke. But in all honesty, I think the one thing I've learned is that it's really important to always stay adaptive as a business owner, first and foremost. So if I look at the business side, that staying adaptive, understanding where you can move your business in times where, you know, there's loads of uncertainty and things, always being aware of where the opportunities are so that you can keep going, and not to panic when something happens beyond your control, because there is normally a way out. You've just got to go looking for it. On a personal level, I'd say that what I've learned is that I never realized how important people were to me. I'm not a very sort of, you know, huggy kind of person. I'm not a tactile person, but I didn't realize how much I valued friendship and family and people around me having conversation, how much I missed that because of the restrictions that we went through. I love my family to bits, but there's only so much you can do with 3 males, you know, who like rugby and gaming, you know. So definitely that. I cannot wait to be able to go back and celebrate with my friends and spend time with my friends, you know.
Well, that certainly sounds like it'll be some celebration when it happens.
Oh yeah.
So you're clearly very inspirational, Sara. And ever since I've met you, I've thought that was the case. And I'm just wondering what your top tips are for work and life in general.
Oh gosh. I think my biggest tip is that, you know, whenever we go through bad stuff, it's everyone goes through something. You know, we've all been through something bad. We've all been through the lows in life. And I think it's important to just sometimes embrace where you are and recognize that, yeah, this is a bad point right now, but it's not always going to be this way. And so I've had plenty of the lowest lows, but actually they've only been seasons in my life. They've only been a period of time, and they do come to an end, and better things do come along. So I think the older I get, the more I reflect back on the fact that good times can come after bad. So just go with it, you know, go with what you're going through. If you have days where you can't work, or you have days where you can't even think straight, just embrace it and just be in the moment for that. And I'd say one of the things that I'm rubbish at is reflecting in the highest highs. So I'm always striving for more, whether it's more in life, more in work. I'm always wanting to experience new things, which is great. And it's who I am, and it's where we are today because of it. But to take the time out to be able to enjoy the moments and enjoy when good things happen, because you'll always be able to look back on those then when you're going through the lows.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. I've certainly enjoyed our moments together this morning, and really appreciate your time today, Sara. So thanks very much. And for anyone listening to that, we'll post some links to Sara's organisation and some of the projects that she mentioned when we put this online. So thanks very much, and lovely talking to you.
Thanks, Catherine.